So I'm really excited to see so many people register this webinar and they're curious about smart farming. So let's move to the this page. So I spent some time to not disclose our customers' details. So I have to replace the our scenarios with free pictures on the internet, and some of them are AI generated kind of pictures. So basically, we have 5 very relevant scenarios in farming. The number 1 is called vertical farming. The biggest vertical farming company in Europe is also a EMQX enterprise customer. So they are building a very high-tech farming building. It's literally a building which can stack up all the plants. So it's like a vertical. You're not just spread the plants all away from on the field. You just stack them together and create a vertical space to raise these plants. So that means you need a very strong capability to understand the environment, to control and to collect the information of the environment, the temperature, the humidity. So you will rely on a lot of sensors to collect those numbers continuously, right? So they use sensors which can support the MQTT protocol, and they connect all the sensors to EMQX platform, the MQTT platform, so they can continuously push the temperature, humidity, and the light metrics data to the backend IT system to do the monitoring and control. And if necessary, they will do the responsive. They would take actions to resolve any issue they have. So the number 1, we call it vertical farming. So the vertical farming in these scenarios is it's very close to some scenarios in the building tech. We call it building tech, which is, for example, your office building. There are also a lot of different sensors to capture the office temperature, the humidity, and the air conditioner status, and also your lights. So that's very similar, but when you use it for farming, it creates a different, very unique scenario. And the second one is called the farm management. So we have a customer, they're building a farm management software. So I pretty like their slogan on the website. They call it agriculture 4.0. So we know, I guess a lot of people heard about the industry 4.0, which is use the digital technology to evolve your technology base and stack the software stack for the industrial scenario. But agriculture, I mean, the first major sector for human, it's also going to a 4.0 era, and they build up the farm management software, which a lot of farm they not only they have the fields, but also they have buildings to do the stock farming, and they may even now they may use the solar panel or solar panel to collect the clean energy. So they create these a kind of management software to take care of the whole park, to cover different topics in the farming. So it's very close to a scenario, another scenario like so the previous one is like a building tech, but the second one is more like a park. The technology for park is not only just one building, but different buildings and the roads in the park, and also the lands planning and monitoring in this park. So they first deploy a lot of sensors in the different fields or buildings, and then they have a backend system to process all the data collected by these sensors. And also they create a mobile app, which provide to their customers so they can use the mobile app. They can monitor all these things just on their mobile phone. So that's how they provide these, they add this value to these high-tech farm management things. So the third scenarios is they call it local weather, which means you have some small weather stations for the local area. So just to capture the very local weather metrics like wind and the sunlight, and to warn these landowner about, okay, so if there's any very micro weather situation in your fields. So that's I guess more you probably will see these kind of micro local weather station on the fields or on some building. So that's for these kind of scenarios. So this is yeah, we have a customer in Italy. They actually providing these kind of local weather gears. And the fourth one is the farm machines. So the farm machines is usually quite expensive. So the farm machines vendors, they usually provide at least 3 options for their customer. One is you can buy it. Most people will pay in installments. And second offering is you can rent and pay the monthly rate to rent this machine. So since the farming land is maybe quite away from the vendor, how the machine vendors can make sure they can get all the installments or the rent in time, and make sure people won't just I mean, they can claim all this money. So usually these new farm machines, they're connected machines. They will connect to the machine vendors backend system, so they can control if people don't pay the installments or if they don't pay the rent, they can lock down the machines from the remote side. So that's the way how they control. They make sure they can provide these kind of financial offerings to their customers, and in the meantime, they can make sure that it's sustainable. I mean, they can claim the money and make sure this business model can work. And the third offering is you don't buy it, you don't rent it, but you hire it. So there is like a farm machine service company. They will buy these machines and they will hire drivers to drive these machines, and the farmers can hire the driver and the machine to come to their fields and to work out something. And in this case, the farmers are paid by the workload. So it's very important these machines can collect the metrics about how many area they have work out, right? They need to provide this proof of work so they can charge the farmers. So usually our customer from the farm machines, they will put sensors and GPS trackers and other like T-box stuff on these farm machines to collect these the actual routes these machines have drive, and how much areas they have go through. So that can consolidate the proof of work, and they can create this bill to the farm and the farmer, so that both sides will be more acceptable. I mean, the farmers can know how large is their fields, but the vendors, I mean, they need some mechanism to trust each other. So in this way, the smart farm machines, they can provide and they can calculate and summarize how much area they have go through and to give this consolidate this proof of work. And the fifth scenario is somehow, people, we have wearable device like the smart band or smart watch, and also the animals in your farming land. You can also give them wearable devices to track their health and to track the different metrics for those high value animals to make sure they are growing well and you won't lose them, or you can find any potential issue in a very time manner. So you can prevent your potential loss. So this is the five very high relevant scenarios for the farming business. And so, usually we will talk about EMQX scenarios like our biggest scenarios like Internet of Vehicles, the industrial IoT, and the utilities, the device network for water, for electricity network. And also we can serve for the internet applications like instant chat, and also the building tech or smart home things, and also like the wind farm or the solar farm. So you can see all these farming scenarios in our general big scenarios. So you will see like EMQX MQTT platform can fit into many different business scenarios. Why is this? So this is very interesting. So I summarize these things like because EMQX is at the border of the real world and the digital world. So in this place, we're trying to help our developers and our customers to build up the data frontier between the real world and the digital world. So you can attach your endpoint devices directly to the EMQX MQTT platform. And also you can attach, if it's a industrial scenario, you have different protocols. It's not just MQTT, then you can attach those industrial devices to our NeuronEX edge gateway, which can support multi-protocol. And then NeuronEX can forward those messages to EMQX MQTT platform. So this is how we build up this data frontier between the real world and the digital world. And we can help users to move their data from endpoint devices from the frontier to the back end of the data infra, to the lakehouse, to the warehouse, to the data warehouse. So we keep involving this EMQX platform. So just a little bit, it's forecast for the how we are moving this product going forward, especially after 5.8. Yeah, it's not about a feature in this chart. So the features, Ivan will share about what kind of very exciting features will be available in EMQX 5.8. Here, I just want to explain. So EMQX is originally an open source project, and we have been evolving this project to a enterprise grade software. So we have different like product offerings like open source core. We have the enterprise grade software. We also have the cloud, EMQX cloud service. So that brings different challenges to EMQX evolving when we try to evolve EMQX. So in the future, we will clear up the structure or border inside the EMQX platform to make it more structured. So we will have a MQTT broker core, and around that, we will build up the enterprise grade features. So just, yeah, listed some of them here, but not necessary you will immediately available in 5.8. So Ivan will share some the important features in 5.8 in the late slides. Okay, so yeah, this is my part if you have any question, you can raise them on the Q&A panel. So now I moved it. Yeah, I passed this session to Ivan. Ivan can unmute yourself.
Let's go. Let's move right to the next slide. So we recently released version 5.7.2. It was a patch release in 5.7 family. The highlights dynamic Kafka topics feature. And in a nutshell, you, for example, could use templates in Kafka topic when you configure action. Like when you want to send some data to Kafka, Confluent Kafka, or Azure Event Hubs through Kafka protocol, you can use properties of MQTT message to create topic name dynamically in real time. It should be helpful in many scenarios when you need to route different messages to different topics and you don't want to configure a gazillion of different rules for that. Another useful improvement is support for initializing authentication database from CSV or JSON file. For example, it could be useful in Kubernetes deployment when you have a bunch of MQTT users that you want to create. And if you use this feature, these users will be available right when MQX started on Kubernetes. And similar functionality for band clients. So you can bootstrap this list from a CSV file. You can also use environment variables in rule engine. There is a separate prefix and more information available in documentation. But it could be useful again in Kubernetes deployment when you can configure one variable or more and use them in rule engine. Somewhat advanced is HTTP backend for Scrum authentication. So Scrum authentication is an advanced authentication mechanism for MQTT, and there is not many libraries that support it. But some of our clients do use it, and this allows for plugging in HTTP backend for this mechanism. And of course, as usual, fixed a lot of bugs found by our team and our users and customers. And we have added a few breaking changes, not like breaking because it is a patch release after all, but some things to consider when you upgrade to this version. And let's go to the next slide. In early September, we applied to release version 5.8, which brings even more interesting features, rather complex. So first one is client attributes. Client attributes is properties that you could set up for client connection, like MQTT properties. And now you can use them in rule engine. Just extract and apply to a rule to maybe route messages differently. And for HTTP authentication mechanism, you could set up your HTTP server to return ACL rules in response to apply to the connection request. We are getting back hot upgrades feature, which was available in version 4, but we released version 5 initially without hot upgrade support because it's a rather complex and expensive in terms of maintenance feature. So what we did, we improved it and made it simpler to maintain, and we are turning it back, making it available again in 5.8. And for folks who don't know that, so since our product is written in Erlang, it's a language programming language coming from telecoms. And in telecoms, for example, have a huge hardware switch running on the cell towers that you really, really don't want to restart or reboot when you have new fix or upgrade or something. So they run always all the time, 24/7, because they always route phone calls all the time. And like from the very first Erlang versions, they made it possible to upgrade code without restarting the whole application. And this is what we are bringing in. So if you have an MQX cluster running, you have like thousands of connected clients, and by using hot upgrade, nobody will notice that you already upgraded to the next version. But of course, this will not work for major version upgrades because there might be some incompatible changes. Next is cluster linking. So to give you a kind of a brief idea, so of course we have MQTT bridge to connect different MQX clusters and even non-MQX clusters. Cluster linking is a more advanced and more smarter way to connect different MQX clusters. In a nutshell, so when you use cluster linking from cluster A to cluster B, cluster B will only send messages destined to cluster A if there are subscribers expecting these messages. So you just tell, okay, I'm interested in these topics, but the cluster that receiving this message will not send data to the target cluster unless there are subscribers. So no necessary traffic. Message transformation, it allows you to restructure MQTT messages on the fly while sending them to subscribers. A very powerful and interesting feature for a lot of our users. Rather advanced feature OEDC SSO. It's for enterprise customers who want to connect their existing authentication system to MQX. Again, require long expected feature. It's a Cerberus authentication. So when you have already Cerberus in your enterprise, you can enable this feature, and the MQTT clients, you don't have to manage authentication database separately. And new data integrations, Azure Blob Storage, Couchbase, data layers. Data layers, it's kind of InfluxDB, but different. Also time series database for IoT. We improve IoTDB integration by adding support for Thrift protocol, and we improve Kafka integration. So Kafka consumer inside MQX, not producer, but consumer. So some cloud providers expect users to set up custom pre-configured consumer group IDs to work with their managed Kafka. And since MQX was auto-generating like with random symbols, it was really hard to make it work. But now you can just, when you set up a bridge, you can set up a static group ID that works with your cloud provider. And if you notice that there is a like EE prefix for some updates, that means it's only available for Enterprise Edition. I also added a link to a public roadmap. We'll try to keep it up to date so that you may keep in touch of what is planned in the upcoming releases. Yeah, I think that's all for me.
Okay, thank you, Ivan. Yeah, we see here some of the features are listed as EE, which is available in the Enterprise Edition, right? Yeah, I think in the 5.8, we really try to introduce a lot of useful things, especially I think I think these two features will be pretty important for our users, like the support for the OpenID connection, the SSO feature, and also the Kerberos authentication. So a lot of developers, they raise this question about how to set up the authentication for their devices. I mean, the number of devices sometimes it's quite many. So So from time to time, there will be people very headache, be very headache for set up a good mechanism, authentication mechanism for their device plan or all the different devices. So I think this OpenID connection and the kernels will be very useful when you try to build up a high security systems. And usually these features will be also available in EMQX, the EMQX platform, the cloud dedicated version. There will be immediate available in the EMQX dedicated cloud service. But for EMQX serverless, because it's in a different tech parts and the priority is different, so these features will be added to EMQX serverless maybe a little bit later than the dedicated cloud. So we will keep you guys post when these authentication features, new authentication features be available in the system. Yeah, we have some question in the Q&A panel. So let's go through these questions. From
Yeah, I can take
Carlos.
the first one. I can take the first one.
Okay, great.
Will it be possible to add client attributes from the authentication process? For example, use fetch field from auth as client attributes. Could we, so I'm not sure what do you mean by this? When you, what fields are you going to fetch from authentication? So, okay, wait, sorry. So you can, for example, I know that if you use HTTP authentication, a separate authentication server for HTTP, when MKX calls HTTP, your HTTP endpoint, your HTTP server can return a JSON blob with, of course, like hello or not. And also there is a client address field, the JSON field that you can fill with whatever you want. And then this set of fields will be available as client attributes. Does this answer the question, Carlos?
Yeah, Carlos, if you have more things you want to clarify this question, you can feel free to add things, update this question. So yeah, we have two more. The second question is, yeah, I'd like to ask her for a general technical question regarding MQTT.
Transferring files.
Yeah, transferring file.
No, it should work. I mean, it's not recommended because so we don't recommend it because it's just for to reduce probability of abusing this, right? You know, if you say like, yeah, you can send 10 megabyte payloads, people could start sending like 1,000 times a second 10 megabytes payloads. That's not good. I don't think it's easy to handle. But if you send like several times a day, this kind of stuff, I don't see why it shouldn't work.
Yeah, so
yeah, we just you just need to test it, and I can tell already now that it may have higher memory requirements for this scenario.
yeah, I think the for the file transferring scenario, you need to think about the network situation for your 500 cameras. Are they in a distributed network environment? I mean, which they maybe probably if these 500 cameras, they're all in the public internet and they have their own bandwidth, then it should be fine. But if you have a like LAN scenario, then you better to schedule these 500 cameras to send those files not in the same time. You probably will get some network issue. But from broker side, just like Ivan mentioned, it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, I can also add to this case. I can add if you use a MKX Enterprise, you could and you're running it on AWS. We have a feature about storing files on Amazon S3. And MKX has a special extension to MQTT protocol. It's very, very simple, but it allows you to reduce number of retries or like to address network issues. Because if you transfer 10 megabyte payload and network is spotty, it's likely that the transfer may break and you will have to resend it again. But if you use file transfer protocol, then EMQX will split this payload automatically for you, and it will just retransfer chunks that it needs to retransfer. And in general, it should be much easier on hardware.
Okay. Yeah, the next question is regarding what features of EMQX can support a digital twin implementation. Could you list it out? Like in AWS, we have AWS IoT Twin Maker. Yeah, that question may, I'm not very familiar with IoT Twin Maker. So I'm just Googling it and try to see what kind of features it's providing. It's something regarding getting immersive 3D view of your system and the operation to optimize efficiency. So it looks like a kind of visualized technologies. Basically to maintain the state of the device and sync up both sides. Yeah, that's actually how EMQX platform working. I mean, you connect the device to the broker, and your application subscribe that topic, which your device sending status message, and your application can get the latest status message, and you can do visualize things or responsive reactions based on those messages. So the EMQX platform itself is for these scenarios. Yeah, I mean, that support store and forward features. Sorry, let me get to the next question. Does EMQX support store and forward feature? Where say I send a message to a topic, but if I support is not available now, we're working on that kind of store features. So we are trying to introduce different technology to resolve this issue. At this point,
I mean, it's already working. It's just for
okay.
If you don't have a durable storage backend, it will just queue it up, and so there is going to be a limited amount of messages that will queue up, and it's stored in memory. But I think even in 5.7, you can already use durable storage backend that uses internal database to store messages. So if you subscribe these, what do you call it? A clean false, and you set session expiry interval to some large value, it will be persistent session, and subscriber can disconnect, but the session will stay in the broker, and incoming messages that should be routed to this, they will be saved in the database. So when subscribers reconnect, it will receive all these messages.
Okay. The next question is for grid control and monitor. In the aspects of security, it's very critical. What would you suggest a secure way to set up a control signal back to grid using EMQX? I think it's a little bit vague because let me think about how to answer this question, because you can set up a bi-direction encryption from your client to EMQX. I think that's sort of a way to increase your security, but if you can give more details about what kind of situation you want EMQX to send back to this control signal, you can create the encryption and based on certificates. So I'm not sure if that's your case. Let me get to the next question. I have a situation where I have around 40K data points. Every 10 seconds, we need to push. We are currently using FTP. Would it be wise to switch to EMQX? Would it handle?
Oh yeah, it's yeah, easy. 4K per second is not a problem as long as you use more than one connection. So one connection may struggle, and not for EMQX fault, it's just in general. But if you can split this traffic, if it's several or like many clients, and total traffic is 40K per 10 seconds, it's fine.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm not sure how you set up these 40K data points. So in the real production environment, we have situation like we have like millions of devices connect to the backend EMQX production system, and they are collecting instantly messages. So which means like 1 second or 3 to 5 seconds interval, they will send up those signals and transfer to the backend. So 40K it should be theoretically it should be good, but you need to do some configuration on your data points and your clients and connections. So to make sure you can optimize the configuration, the resource you consume, and can fit into your business requirements. Yeah, let me double check if there's any new questions. Yes, get some fields from us process and attach to the client, which will to be used in use.
I just wanted, so a few guys asked to share a link to the documentation. I added in the answered questions. I don't know if you've seen them. So Carlos and Aravindan, I shared links for you in the QA chat. And to again, like about digital twin, I also I'm not sure what exactly it is, what is the requirement. And again, like the grid control monitor, just same for me. I'm not sure what exactly are expectations.
Yeah, so yeah, I will encourage this friend to give more details about the about these scenarios, and you can always raise your question in our community channel. We have you can find us on Slack, you can find us on Discord, and also you can just click the contact us button on our front page, emqx.com front page. And also, sorry, I forgot to move to this page. The easiest way to experience EMQX enterprise features is using EMQX, the cloud service, EMQX dedicated offering. You can get to it from this link. So we provide 14 days trial for EMQX dedicated. It should be enough for your evaluation, technology evaluation purpose. Let me double check the question.
Carlos just asked a follow-up question.
Yeah, it's regarding that add client attributes. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe in 5.8, when we support OpenID connection and Kerberos, it will be much easier for this kind of situation, as you can do the authentication step in your OpenID connection security server, and you just get that encryption ticket to EMQX. So it can minimize the authentication work and the complexity of the configuration for authentication in EMQX. It will be more flexible. Okay, we get a new question. Who can offer us support regarding communication and using EK? Regarding communication, who can be using? Okay, so yeah, I'm not quite familiar with this one, but I will search for our NeuronEX documentation. So we support the NeuronEX support over hundreds different protocol. Yeah, let me check if this is covered in that part. Hi, Chin, you just sent out the poll, right?
Yes, I just launched a poll and I've already seen a lot of you guys are participating in the poll, and thank you guys so much. So the poll will help us to know how do you like us to improve the office hour session, and if you want links for EMQ community, Slack, and Discord, and just also other type of MQTT sessions that you're interested in. So if you want to have more communication with us in future sessions, fill out the poll. We will definitely reach out and follow up with all of your requests and questions. And yeah, again, the best way to keep in touch with us is to fill out the form from our Contact Us page. That way we will know your specific demands and questions, and that way we can send the specific expert your way.
Yeah, I'll leave this question, the last question, the past couple of question. Probably we can have a follow-up email with Wolfgang regarding this question. I do not have an immediate answer at this moment. I have I need to take a look on the Neuron EX documentation, but since I'm sharing the screen, it's hard for me to do the documentation search at this moment. But I will have a follow-up email with you. Oh yes, this is a EtherCAT IO device. Yeah, I think Trini, if you can share your screen. Yeah, I need
sure.
to.
Yeah, let me.
Yeah, I would like
I can
to,
share my screen.
Do a search on my. Sure. We will definitely follow up with you. Yeah, no worries, because we have all the registers information. So yeah, I will find this answer and give you the follow-up email. Yeah. So we are close to the end of this office hour session. So if you have any question, please, we have some more time, like 6 to 5 minutes at this moment. So if you have one or two last question, yeah, please raise it in now. Mission guide. Yeah, I'm not sure if we have the yeah, in the participant report, we will see the region distribution of our participants, and we will continuously optimize our office hour time. It's always challenging for us to find a good time for most people. We're trying to do that, but we're still working on that. So especially for Europe and APAC, it's a such large region and across different time zones. So yeah, we are trying to do our best. We will send out a post event emails to all the registers. So if you have any inquiries after this live session, just reply to that email and let us know your question and anything we can do for you. Oh, the replay. The replay, after I reinitiate this replay, it's recorded on the cloud. So we will still get the replay, but just maybe a little bit different from what we expect. But anyway, we will add it to the replays and share with you guys in the post-event emails as well. Okay, if there is no other question, I think yeah, we can close this session. It's almost the time. Thank you for all you guys to join and sharing with us in today's office hour session. We're looking forward to talking to you in the future, not only sending us email, but also you can join to our future office hour session as well. We will share more our customer stories and use cases, interesting use cases with you guys in the future office hours. And also we will invite Ivan again in the future to share the product technology updates. So as the EMQX project is still quickly evolving, so we will have different technology we can discuss in the future as well. Okay, thank you guys again for joining today's session. Okay, Ching,
right.
anything else you wanted to wrap up with the
That's all for the session. Again, thanks everyone for joining us, and we will look at all of the pools and the questions and make sure to follow up with you via the after event emails, and yeah, look forward to connect with you and answer more questions in future office hour sessions with every one of you. Okay, thank you guys.
Okay.
See you next
Thank you
time.
guys.